What's up, everybody? Welcome back to 78.6 FM. This is Positive Vibes with Winsome. Man, has it been a long week. Is that a little better? Okay. Hey, once again, 78.6 FM, Positive Vibe with Winsome. This is Freestyle Saturday. That's right, everybody. Freestyle Saturday is when I don't have anything written down to come in here and talk about, right? Come on, man. I'm just going to walk in here, jump on the microphone, and just give it to you. I got a message from a friend, Minnie. Hi, Minnie. She says, I listen to the radio at home, and she says she wants to hear Memory by Maroon. So I'm assuming Maroon 5 has a song called Memory. So I'm going to look for that at the break. But anyway, hey, welcome back to Positive Vibes. Man, so we survived the almost typhoon last week, right? So we were bracing ourselves for the so-called biggest typhoon in history coming last weekend. Didn't happen. It's a good thing, right? So we got through. I bought a bunch of groceries for survival mode just in case. But, hey, I'd rather be prepared than unprepared, man. So it didn't happen. We're good. We're back, and we're making things happen. We went through the week, normal work week, 5 long days, getting ready for Saturday. Today was honestly one of those days I didn't want to do nothing. You know, I had a list of things I needed to do, or should I say I had planned to do for a Saturday. But when I got out the bed and got going, I was like, you know what? Today's going to be my nothing day. I'm not doing nothing. I'm just going to relax today. And it's one of those things, you know, what I told you a few weeks back. I said, you got to know yourself, right? You got to take care of yourself. And today was one of those days. I said, you know what? I'm going to love me today, be lazy today. And I'm constantly moving. And one of my favorite sayings, right? I can't quote who said it because I don't know. But one of my favorite sayings is, I know you can move, but can you be still, right? I move all week. I'm sure you do too. So today was that day. I said, I'm going to be still. What do you do with time off? What do you do when you have time off? You don't have anything planned. A lot of people I know, they jump on Netflix, video games, whatever. You know, what's your thing? What do you like to do? Do you read? Do you write? Me, I get on the radio. I listen to podcasts, as you guys know I'm listening to right now. Fake Doctors, Real Friends. It's the cast from Scrubs. They always make me smile, making me happy. So I just put those in, and no matter what I'm doing, if I'm working out in my little workout room, or if I'm watching TV, or you know, just relaxing, I'll listen to them. And the conversations are a lot like this one. Like they just go and talk about whatever's on their mind. So whenever I get the chance to have a co-host here talking with me, that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna have conversations with them to bring up random topics. Like, for example, what is on Netflix right now? What's on Amazon? Well, I'll tell you, I just got finished watching. We talked about how excited I was for the 4th of September. The Boys, season 2. That is an Amazon show that I truly enjoy. So if you guys know me at all by now, all these weeks we've had together, I'm a huge fan of comic books, Doctor Who, Scrubs. I mean, those are 3 things that if you know anything about me, I'll stop and talk about that all day, right? So comics, DC versus Marvel, Doctor Who. Oh man, I fell in love with that whole fandom is amazing. And then also, you know, we're talking about Scrubs, which is why I'm hooked on the podcast with the cast on it. So, The Boys. You take DC and you take all your favorite heroes like Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, Aquaman, right? Just picture those guys, but with a more human and realistic twist to those characters, right? So I'm sure if you're tracking the movies, you get the Aquaman of Jason Momoa. But think about not a Jason Momoa, just an everyday guy with fish-like qualities, right? And Superman with an attitude, like he doesn't really care about people. This show is extremely cool. Even The Flash, they got a guy playing a different character who is the Flash alter ego. Literally, without probably identifying it, this is the alter ego of the characters that we grew up and fell in love with. So it is really a cool show. It takes you on a really fun ride. I watched the only thing, let's go there first. I do have a problem with the show. It's a huge problem with the show. Why is Amazon only releasing 1 episode a week? Amazon, if I knew where your address was, I would drive up there and knock on your door and talk to somebody and say, let's talk about this. Because it makes I'm a binger, where I can sit there and watch the whole show, relax, have a whole day planned to binge on a really cool show. That's what we've become accustomed to do. So Amazon, this generation, we're bingers, okay? Bring it back to where we can binge on it. But what they're doing is they're rolling out one new show every Friday. So if you haven't checked it out, season 2 of The Boys, go ahead and check out season 1. It was a lot of fun. Definitely not for the kids. All right. So this is one of those things that you would think superheroes, but no, this is like the anti-superhero, completely different thing, not really set up for the kids. So if you got any kids under 13 or whatever age you want to protect them from, do not have them watching this show. It's a little rough around the edges when it comes to the content. So definitely not recommended for the young ones. What else is out right now, man? I just finished The Warrior Nun. Was pretty cool. Left you on a cliffhanger. I think I talked about that last Freestyle Saturday. I just watched some weird movie on Netflix. I don't even know what it's called. It was like German superheroes, and they were kind of like didn't know what it was. They stopped taking medication. It was the weirdest thing. All right, another super cool show on Netflix, Cobra Kai. If you haven't seen it, watch it. If you are a fan of the Karate Kid, and I'm not talking about the Will Smith son version of the Karate Kid, I'm talking about the Karate Kid with Ralph Macchio back when we were kids, back in the 80s, right? And when I say we, I mean those guys at the 40 and up, us guys, right? So the Karate Kid character is a real cool spin on this show, and I didn't know what it was. I just knew they had the character, so I thought they might have just been like cameos, right? Well, it's not. Apparently the character from the original movie is taking on his arch nemesis in a more updated version of their lives. So it's a really, really cool show to watch. If you remember that story, they brought back characters and the actors from the old movies, and of course, without Pat Morita, rest in peace. He passed in the last couple of years. So everybody else is back, man. They're even teasing the girlfriend from the original movies to come back for season 2. Again, 78.6 FM. Positive Vibes with Winsome. This is Freestyle Saturday. Right now we're talking about Cobra Kai, which is a new show on Netflix, going through season 2 up next. So I just finished season 2, so season 3 should be coming out. Leaves you another show, leaves you on a great cliffhanger. It just left you like with your mouth open, if I could show you right now with my mask over it. But it was amazing all the way through to watch. A lot of fun. It's not what you expect. It wasn't like the high octane, constant action. It's not that. It's a really cool story. And this one is not bad for the kids. Your kids can watch it. The teenagers will probably love it. And if you grew up, again, watching the movie, you'll really get a kick out of this, man. So what are we talking about today? Today, first I'm going to talk about what's on TV, what I'm looking forward to watching, what I'm watching right now, what's coming out. Next segment, I'm probably going to talk a little bit about traveling. That's the one thing with COVID you can't really talk about, right? Because nobody's really doing it or able to. With all the limitations, we can't really. So the next segment after the commercial break, we're going to talk about some traveling, some of the things I've done and what I want to do next, man. And I can't wait to have people calling in so you can tell me what you're trying to do, man. Let's talk about it. And then lastly, I sent a message out to friends and family today talking about second wins, right? And what that means is what are you doing next? You know, no matter what chapter of your life you're in, you're going to go through things, and how do you recover from it, navigate through it, and what are you doing next? So that's going to be how we end the show. What is coming out? Okay, Netflix has Stranger Things, keeps getting on the bubble. Wonder Woman got kicked back, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, Wonder Woman is now for a Christmas Day release. I just know it keeps getting pushed back. This is driving me crazy. So if you're a movie fan, and that can be on Amazon, Netflix, that's totally different. But if you're a movie like to sit in a theater and watch a good movie fan, then some of these movies' delays are probably driving you crazy. Wonder Woman, 1984. Oh, Gal Gadot. That's going to be amazing. Can't wait to see that. I guess Cheetah. It's going to be her arch nemesis in this one. So that's going to be pretty cool to watch. I want to see how that plays out. She wasn't in the first one. They're bringing back her love interest, the young guy that got stuck on her island. He's coming back. You recognize him from the Star Wars series that came out recently, a couple of years back. So another movie I want to see is Black Widow. So you go from DC, we're jumping over to Marvel. Black Widow has been, everyone's been talking about that movie since the Marvel Universe began. Now, that's one of Marvel's favorite characters. Human, grown Russian spy. She goes home and catches up with her family. And this time, we get to see a story about her backstory, 100%. Instead of just a little clip, you get to learn more about her family, why she's so special. And also meet her sister, who, rumor has it, maybe coming up as a main character in the Marvel next phase. So we're going to see what happens. Of course, you see different outlets have different news clips out there about what they think Scarlett Johansson's doing next. But I really just want to see the movie so I can see what Marvel's trying to, poke out there and give us a little clue for. And always get excited when Marvel's doing something, because Kevin Feige and team have a way of putting things together to where you just don't expect it to happen that way. And like Endgame. I know you guys saw Endgame, and you guys are probably like, whoa. No, Infinity War was the one that everybody's like, whoa. Because at the end of that movie, remember, the bad guy won. That was the one where Thanos was like, yo, I'm done, sitting on a porch, sipping some sweet tea, and everybody else was disappearing, right? That was the coolest thing. So Endgame came, changed the game again. You got excited to see everybody come back. But one thing that I am excited for, one show and one series that I'm super excited for is, drum roll please, don't got the sound effects yet, Justice League. All right, so let's talk about that. I got 3 minutes, right? So listen to me. Justice League, when it first dropped, of course, Zack Snyder had originally created Justice League, and this movie, should I say, not the whole Justice League, but he created the movie. That was his directorial piece, right? That was his action. And if you know Zack Snyder, then think of, let's see, Day of the Living Dead, if I'm not mistaken, the title is a zombie movie. Also had a couple other 300. So think about that artistic approach to movies. So I 100%, man, I was on board with the Justice League movie when it was first in development. You get to see Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, all on the screen at the same time. So of course, I was super excited because throughout my entire childhood, one of my favorite cartoons was just that, the Justice League. And then when they would go up against the Legion of Doom, those were some of my favorite cartoons in the 80s. So to see them come to life for the first time was very exciting for me. The director's daughter passed, so he had to take a hiatus. And they brought in Joss Whedon, who you're familiar with the Avengers movies. So not a lot of fans or a lot of critics were excited about the final product that came out of Justice League. So if you remember, if you weren't tracking, what happened was the fans wanted Zack Snyder's cut. So they're like, hey, there's a Snyder cut. So you probably started seeing this all over the internet. Release the Snyder cut. Release the Snyder cut, right? I was one of those guys. Yo, let me see what would be different if it was back in the original creator's hands. The guy who originally had the vision of bringing these characters back to life. Would it truly be a better movie? So what they did was, hey, man, the fans just was on it. The actors started buying in for the movie. It became a great and a huge deal, right? Released the Snyder cut. Ultimately, HBO Max. Surprise, shocked the world. Everybody was excited. HBO Max is picking up the Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League. So what's happening now is next year, 2021, of course, like I told you guys, everything getting pushed back. I wish it was this year, right? That'd be a wonderful Christmas gift. But next year, the Snyder cut is coming out. And on the Snyder cut, they started showing a little clip last month about what we'll be seeing. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Everything on there looks so cool. The characters look fresh. A lot of scenes that we should have saw the first time around are finally being revealed. A lot of answers or questions to a lot of answers to the questions that we had from the first movie. I'm super duper excited. I know I've said this already about what's coming. So again, the Snyder Cut's being released. That's something I'm looking forward to. We're talking about Freestyle Saturday. This is Positive Vibes of Winston. We're 78.6 FM. I've just been going over some stuff. Either I've been watching some shows, movies, what I've been listening to on a podcast, and of course, some of the things that are on the way, man, and I'm excited about. Some of the movies, such as the Justice League Snyder Cut, Wonder Woman 1984, and Black Widow. Hey, man, really excited about that. And the Christmas special for Doctor Who. Be back after this break. Hey guys, welcome in, welcome back. 78.6 FM. This is Positive Vibes with Winston. We had a request, and Minnie, it's been weeks and weeks, and you've had the same request. So for Minnie, I'm going to play Memories by Maroon 5. Minnie, this is for you. That was for you, Minnie. We're not done yet. I just want to make sure you know we're still here. We're tracking. I do know this song, Minnie. So I do know this song. Forgive me. I have not played it. I did not know the name of this song, Minnie. But this is for you. Back to memories for Minnie. In case you guys are listening to 78.5, 78.6 FM, Yoma Time. That was for many. That was for many. That was Memories by Maroon 5. Hey, I gotta tell you, I hadn't heard that song in a long time. I don't really listen to Maroon 5 that much. But I will say this though. Minnie has been emailing the show probably a lot for the last couple of weeks. I say I've probably got 3 emails requesting that song, and I can never pull it up and get it to fit um, inside of the show segment. So I'm glad I got an opportunity to fit that into today's show. It's Freestyle Saturday. Hey, Freestyle Saturday is open to anybody, man. This is what we do, right? So before I forget, and while I got an opportunity, no matter what happens tomorrow, I just want to make sure I give a quick shout out to everybody at the Kadena Air Base MPF. That team from force management, career development, customer service, oh man, IPR, you name it, from the head on down, the leadership on down to the folks doing all the technician work, and everybody in that building doing the work is amazing. And I haven't had a chance to say that on the air this last couple of weeks, but I want to make sure I tell you guys, man, You guys are amazing. Everything you do every day, the hard work, the hours, the energy you put into what you do, and the care you put in for your work. Even when you don't feel like it, you do it. And that speaks volumes for your character, who you are, and taking care of not just the customer, but each other. Throughout COVID and throughout everything we've been experiencing the last couple of months, that team is strong. You guys have a strong heartbeat, and I brag on you all the time. And I'm so proud of you. And I know everybody who sees you, who's been tracking your progress, who's been from your success and your failures, you're still resilient, you're strong, and you're learning the lessons every day. So super proud of you guys, and I can't wait to get back to you on Monday. Miss you when we're not around each other, and I'm proud of you when I'm with you. All right, so back to it. 78.6 FM. This is Freestyle Saturday. Positive Vibes with Winsome. Just gave a shout out to the MPF on Kadena. All the sections in there, my teammates. Memories. Those memories, that song go out to that FM team, Force Management over there. Guys, we had a lot of great memories together. I never got it going away, man. I ain't going to call you out. No, I'm just teasing. I know I moved right downstairs. But I will tell you this, man. I will miss your smiles, your conversations, and the everyday passing. Little things mean a lot, right? But I'll tell you this also. I'm proud of you guys and what you've accomplished, what you've achieved. Good, bad, ugly. Every person that I worked with over the last couple of months has shown me amazing character and growth. That's that word. And I'm going to segue that into what I'm talking about now. I'm going to reverse that, revamp it. Growth, right? I sent a message out to my friends and family today about second wins, about, starting from somewhere, feeling tired and still pushing, and getting that second wind. If you guys don't know me, you probably know I love good stories, right? I love hearing good stories. I love telling amazing stories. If it's something that's meaningful, something that leaves an impact on my heart and my mind, then I'm going to share it, right? Especially if it's something that has a strong message. And I was watching a race, and I've talked about this a few weeks. I love watching track. Track and field is one of those sports that it encompasses everything about the human spirit that can be amazing. If you look at some of the stories from some of the athletes and you see where they've come from and what they do, no matter what the event, but I'm going to give you one. I'm going to give you the 200 meter. And there's this young lady, and follow her story a little bit. So she started training probably 3 months before everybody else that she knew. Gets out on the track and gets to, let's say, one of the finals. Let's give an example. Worked hard. She knew she was good. She knew she was going to be able to compete. But when the race starts, pop, slips off the start a little bit, and she's not with everybody in the race. She's not where she thought she was supposed to be. She's not where she could have been if she didn't have that slip up. So you look, there's maybe 5 people on the track, right? So there's 4 people ahead of her going around that first curve. There's something in her that kicks in. There's that muscle memory, yeah, a little bit. There's that heart, oh yeah, a whole lot of that. There's that stamina, oh yeah, a whole lot of that. Confidence is just getting back to where it needs to be. But she kicks in, she puts it all together, and she tracks down that first person, right? Getting around that curve. 1. I got one person. I see the next one. She puts that little bit of that muscle memory. She gets stronger. She starts digging in more. Bam, got past that second person. Now you can see the finish line when you start coming around that curve in the 200, right? So she pushes another gear. She kicks it in more. Bam, I got past that third person. She had one more person. First of all, if you're watching the race from television and it happens so fast, you can't see, feel, or think what these athletes are feeling, thinking, or saying to themselves. And I can tell you from somebody who used to run, that is exactly what's going through your head. It's all these different thoughts about, okay, if I can, I will. All of that, all at once. And you're running and you're dissecting this race because you've practiced this. You've put this into motion hundreds of times leading up to this moment. And when you're in it, you see it. And even though people say, see your finish line, get to your finish line, no, it's the fight to get there. There's so much struggle mentally, physically, and emotionally that goes into getting to that finish line, right? So you get around that curve and you see the finish line, but you still got one more person to get past. And when you're thinking track and you relate this to life, and that's why I love doing this, is because you think about those individuals as not say challenges or problems, just obstacles, right? Obstacles you got to either navigate through or navigate around. And we talked about that a few weeks ago. And one of my favorite memes, right? I'll talk to you about after this race. So she gets to that last person. Bam, she knocks him down. She's neck and neck with that last person. And what does she have to do to win? Because it's so close of a race, right? You got to stick your head out. You got to stick your neck out there. And you might win by inches. You might win by just the smallest difference. But you get through it. And in life, and with everything we experience and all the challenges we go through, everything, sometimes you got to take that leap of faith. Sometimes you got to put yourself out there. Sometimes you go through challenges. But the whole point is you run your best race. You give it everything you got. Everything that's happened before has been leading up to this moment. And that's everything that you go through. Everything that you've experienced in life is what's prepared you for what's happening right now. So if it's difficult, if it's tiresome, if it's challenging, guess what? You're ready. You've been preparing for this your entire life, no matter how old you are. And you got to fight through it, all those feelings and thoughts. But at the same time, what I didn't mention, what that runner does, is they never stop believing in themselves. Very rare and seldomly do you see a runner just walk off the track because they're losing the race. No, you see it at the end when everybody's past the finish line, you'll see them lag a little bit. But they give it everything they have until they cross the finish line. That, my friends, that is a winning spirit, man. That's a champion heart. We'll talk about that more after the break. That is Tori Kelly, Don't You Worry About a Thing. 78.6 FM, Yomitan. This is Positive Vibes with Winsome. Gave a shout out to my day crew, the NPF over at Kadena. I'm over here talking to you guys about, that race, man, that race of life. You know, what we're doing in between. I gave an example of a 200-meter runner. You only speak to things I can talk to, right? Another one, I love giving sports examples, right? Football. Imagine being a running back. And I'll tell you the story, man. And there's one time that I'll remember. I had practiced all week to play this team. Now, I'm going to tell you how deep I got. I studied this team so deep that I would stare at the screen and picture myself running different routes, or I shouldn't say routes, running through different holes in the defense, right? I was literally all in. I was zoned. I was ready. So we get out to the field, and, of course, San Antonio, Texas, it was raining, right before we got out there to play. So we get to the field. This is minor league football, San Antonio, Texas, 2006. I'll never forget. I was ready. Mentally, physically, I had prepared from the previous game. I had been studying this team. I got out, first play of the game, and I remember the quarterback saying, set, hut, hut, and I start running. I grabbed the ball, and I noticed that my feet are getting caught in the mud, like my cleats were getting stuck. It was really that bad. Boom, 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 get tackled. Okay, this isn't going as planned. So I get up, I get ready for the next play. Knock all the chunks of mud off me, right? Set, hut, hut, I go. Boom, same thing. Got stuck in the mud. I'm frustrated. I didn't plan for this. I didn't see this coming. I didn't prepare for this. I'm not ready for the mud. So I get up. I go to the huddle, right? Hey, man, just throw it because this running thing. Nah, man, we prepared to run. We're going to run. I get out again. Let me tell you what happened. This is life, guys. Down, said, hut. I run to the hole with the ball. I'm going through. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make this work. I'm raising my knees a little bit more. Boom, stuck in the mud. Another guy, huge, comes down, and the angle that he hit me, my left shoulder dislocated. I'll never forget that pain, that moment. Oh, man. And at first, I didn't realize what was happening, but when that pain kicked in, boy, let me tell you. Of course, you got folks who watch too many movies that talk about knowing how to set it back on your team. You're like, no, don't touch me. But that day, that moment, it was miserable. Let me tell you what happened. My guy, I'll never forget, Boy Glover. I'll give him a snippet of this when we get back home. But he gets back there, same position. He runs about 300 yards on this team. So it didn't matter about the mud, didn't matter about anything else. He got out there, fresh legs, ran about 300, had the game of his life against a team that I had been preparing my entire week for, right? What's the story here, man? What are you trying to tell us, Winston? What's the point? Sometimes you can have a plan. And my dude Dave, if you're listening, man, sometimes you have a plan, but what happens when you get punched in the mouth? Who's that, Mike Tyson that said that? Sometimes you have a plan, but what happens when you get stuck, right? Your plan's not going as planned. Sounds funny? Your plan is not going how you planned it. The funny thing is you can only control what's in your control, so when the weather doesn't work, the situation, the dynamics don't set up the way you had planned for, how do you adjust? How do you adapt? How do you overcome? And that's what I had to find out, and that game taught me a lot about life. I watched somebody else do what I wanted to do. Somebody else do what I had been working for my entire time. I was so excited about that game, but it didn't turn out the way my mind had envisioned. There's a lot of disappointment, it was a setback. So imagine I'm trying to get to the All-Star game, but now mid-season, I got a dislocated shoulder. So I missed about 4 games. Coming back, guess what? This guy solidified that spot that I used to have because my shoulder isn't 100% yet. The coach moves me to what they call slot receiver. Now, a slot receiver is a type of receiver that you can be a little guy. If you guys are familiar with the NFL, that's the smaller receiver that usually lines up in between the line and the bigger receiver, right? So he's that in-between guy. So for me, my entire life, I had been a running back. I had rarely ever played receiver except for in flag football, which is no pads. So to have to transition just to play, I had to transition. I had to step outside of my comfort zone and do something completely different just to achieve what I wanted to do. If you're listening to me, are you hearing what I'm telling you right now? I'm using football as an analogy. So I had to do something completely out of my comfort zone in order to get to where I wanted to be. And where I wanted to be at that time was back on the football field, right? So now I'm coming back. I got to relearn everything I knew. So the way you approach the field as a receiver is completely different than the way you approach the field as a running back. So in the offseason, I dedicated myself to flag football. I want to learn how you guys run these routes. I want to see how this goes because when I put these pads back on, I want to be ready. I practice every day with the exception of Saturdays. And if you knew me back then, you know I'm telling the truth. Every day I was in the field. Every day I was running routes. Every day, whoever my friend was that can throw the ball, hey, throw the ball to me. I was playing in every league possible to get my legs prepared for being a receiver coming back. Because you know what? It's not that I gave up on being a running back. I was starting to fall in love with being a receiver. Oh, my goodness. So I stepped out of my comfort zone and approached something and saw something I never knew about myself, right? Here we go. You guys catching on to this yet? So I get on the field. I run a 5 and out. Bam, first game out. Coach is like, this kid got hands. Let's keep him in. Third play of the game, I run, catch the rock for about 75 yards. I didn't really quite have the moves down, right, when it came to having a pad zone, but it was a huge gain. Coach is like, we keeping this kid in there. So here we go. The season's progressing. I'm the short yardage guy. The guys can't see me coming. I'm squeaking through the line. I'm getting past everybody. Things were happening. And you know what happened? The craziest thing. San Antonio Ravens, 2006, 2007. The San Antonio team, even though we didn't make the championship or go to the big game, me and one of my best friends made it to the All-Star game. Him as the quarterback and safety, me as a slot receiver. Not as the running back that I started off my football career being, but as a slot receiver, something I had to learn to become, something I had to grow into. So, Winsome, why do you tell us this story? You made it to the All-Star. By the way, I was the only person to score a touchdown in the Texas All-Star game, minor league football. Just saying. So I tell you this story to say this. Don't get comfortable. Wow, this is freestyle. I didn't make any of this up. This all came as we're talking. I'm having a conversation with you right now. Don't get comfortable where you're at, because that might not be where you're supposed to be. That might not be the only place you're going. Be prepared to step outside your comfort zone. Be ready to do something outside of what you've always known just to get to where you want to be. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes you have to be something else to get what you want out of life. What you've always been isn't going to get you there. Not all the time. But it's going to prepare you. It's going to give you tools to get to where you're trying to be. Who is that? What is that? Dang, Winsome, how you take track meets and football and twist it into, when you're an athlete, you have to learn how to persevere. When you're an athlete, you have to learn how to fight through the hard times, during the game, through the meet, through the race. You got to go and navigate your way to where you're trying to go in the game. That's why I always tell people, get your kids in sports early. They're going to learn how to fight, even if it's not kickboxing or Muay Thai or whatever the different sports are. They're going to learn how to fight through sports because they're going to learn how to win and lose and how to prepare for what's next. I love it. I craved it when I was younger. I wish I can get out there right now. I've been in pool, so I'm just looking at the track or getting on the football field for a second. But 100% for you. One of the funny things is, like in the military, right, we had a PT test. This cracks me up. Every year you hear about people preparing right before the test. I remember that. I remember hearing, oh, yeah, man, I'll test next week. I got to get out on that track. Hey, you're not a young spring chicken anymore. You got to give yourself a little bit more time to prepare for this, man. So think about if you had been preparing since the last test. How good would you be? Think about if you didn't take that hiatus. For a lot of people with COVID, of course, it extended that window where they were required to test. But think about if you had been preparing physically and mentally. Because think about it. The military has to do a run. It can go anywhere from 1.5 miles to 2 miles. I think 3 miles for a branch. I don't know. And then you got to do push-ups, sit-ups. Some got to do pull-ups. So preparing mentally, physically for this the entire time since the last one, you never let up. Your body's ready. But if you just throw your body off and then you just throw it back in the deep end at the end for something like that, the older you get, the harder it gets. But we do it and we put ourselves through it. And it's funny because it's like winning the championship when you pass that finish line, especially when you get older. It's like, oh, my God, I finished it. And you're so happy for that good 20 minutes and you go back to work, right? But the point is you accomplished it and you're ready for what's next. You're ready for the next year. You get that off your plate. It's a brick out of your backpack. For anybody listening who's in a place in their life that they're uncomfortable, good. Make yourself uncomfortable. Because you're learning the lessons. You're putting yourself in a situation where you're not in a comfort zone. You got to get out of that if you are. So if you're in your comfort zone and you notice there's no movement and you're unhappy and you're missing something, something's not connecting, you got to look elsewhere. Doing what you've always done is not going to get you where you're trying to be. Hear what I'm telling you. You're going to have to be something else. You're going to have to do something else. And you're going to have to see differently. And you're going to have to be different. You always got to try something new. I know I stress the heck out of people I work with when I'm always throwing new random ideas at them. And sometimes you got to go backwards to go forwards. Scrap everything and let's start over. But the point is, sometimes you have to trust yourself. And I only say sometimes. Always bet on you. Always bet on yourself. And when I say that, you can't trust anyone else 100% but you. And you know why that is? Because you control you and your mind. And you know what you can and can't do. And you know your limitations and your abilities. You know yourself 100%. That's why you start hearing motivational speakers talking about stop doubting yourself. And you'll never know how powerful you are unless you put yourself out there. You never know how strong you are until you're thrown in the deep end. That's because you got to get out of your comfort zone and test yourself. Resiliency is 22 years of, well, it was 22 push-ups for, different awareness this month, right? So I'm going to say this. Resiliency is strength. Not just in 22 push-ups, but it's resiliency and the strengths of getting down and supporting not only others around you, but being strong in yourself and in your own mind. Being strong in your mind and in your heart is where it starts for everybody and anything. This is Freestyle Saturday. I didn't make none of this up. I didn't think about this before I came on the radio. I want to tell you something. Believe in yourself. Trust yourself. Know yourself first before you try to go out and have these huge, long conversations with other people or try to motivate somebody else. If you can't motivate yourself, there's no way you're going to be able to motivate anybody else. Know yourself. Work on you daily. Make yourself mentally, spiritually, physically stronger. Stop worrying about everything else going on until you know that you're tight. And as you do that, you're going to start opening up doors, not just for yourself, but for those who are with you. But it starts with you. Everything that I talked about today, from the sports to, we started with movies and not doing nothing, all came down to self-care. Your mindset, how you look at life, how you get through and navigate through obstacles, challenges, and things that are holding you back from where you're trying to be. Who are you and where are you trying to go with your life? Minnie came on, we talked about memories. I gave a shout out to the Kadena NPF, the Day Fam. And I want to tell you guys this too, man. You're only limited to what you allow yourself to be limited from. Don't limit yourself. Know yourself. See you next week. Positive Vibes with Winston.